I posted 3 videos yesterday, all wearing the same outfit from the same camera angle, just me talking to a camera, and 2 of them got flagged, and I appealed them, and one of them got put back, and the other one didn't, and one of them wasn't flagged at all, even though they were literally the same video. TikTok thinks that I am overly exposing my body. Which, welcome to womanhood, I guess. I don't know. Chinese algorithms are difficult to parse. I'm actually really happy to be here. I wasn't sure I was gonna be able to stream today, so I dawdled. Right? I mean, like, we're just starting. Normally we're done by 11, right? But here we are. We're together, and we can say some words together. Any anti-capitalist reading recommendations? The Cheap Art Manifesto by Peter Schumann. We'll be done before you start. My energy reminds you of being in Seoul. That's interesting. Hey, Saturday. How are you? So it says we're friends. So I believe that, but did you change your username? Because I don't actually recognize that name. Let me look at your account. Klaus. Oh. Hi. Hi. Hi, Remy. Okay. You can call me Teresa or Tiresias, or some people call me Tiresia, even though that's not a name that I've ever heard anybody call. Good morning, Ari. Okay, let's do a little bit of vocal warm-up. Been streaming, but my microphone has not been on. For the computer, not for the TikTok. TikTok's working fine. This is giving you Jewish vibes, but apparently not girl vibes. Unfortunate. So, we're gonna say some words from the book of Deuteronomy. I'm sure they're all familiar to you by now. The first word that we're going to say in Hebrew is Shema, which means listen. And I'm very grateful that you all are listening. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Trans mythology indeed. Oh, don't mute that one. I like trans mythology. Oh well. Sometimes people get muted by accident. Listen, Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu Asher Echad. All is one. And the serpent eats its tail. ואהבת את ענת אלוהיך ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר נוחי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. And you shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. And these words that I am repeating to you today, that I am trying to teach today, they tell you to teach them. They say teach them. That's what the words say. The words say teach them to your children. Recite them when you wake up and when you go to bed, when you are traveling and when you are at home. You shall bind them as a symbol on your hand. You shall let them serve as a sign on your forehead. You shall inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Repeat me, the prayer says. Repeat me. And so I repeat it every day. And I guess you all repeat it too. I imagine most of you don't actually say these words along with me, although I know some of you do sometimes. Right? We are increasing the quantity of V'ahavta repetitions in the world every morning. And I think that's a good thing. It's a good thing in the same way that trees growing is a good thing, or fish reproducing is a good thing. Life patterns perpetuating themselves. I think I'm going to call that good. It's interesting to listen to. I'm a perfect Jew. I certainly am not. I certainly am not. You literally never know what I'm talking about, but you still keep watching my life. Oh. What a mixture. You're Jewish and this is wrong. Yeah, because I'm saying Ashra. Look, Ashra's got some pollen on her breasts right now. Because she's sitting underneath these wilted. Do you remember when my partner gave me these? And they were all fresh. And now they're all, there's just pollen everywhere. Pollen everywhere. Look at my fingers. Just covered in pollen. Anyhow. V'chaya. Ki v'acha Yahweh Elohecha el ha'aretz asher nishba levotecha le'avram lischach u'Yaakov. לתת ערים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית, ובתים מלאים כל דבר אשר לא מילאת, וברות עצבים אשר לא הצעת, כהרים וזיתים אשר לא נתת, והלכת ושבת. ישמר לך פן תשכח את יהוה אשר תשכח מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. You think like a philosopher and act like a character from a fantasy book. That might be the best compliment that I will receive today. That's my goal. God, when I was a little boy, I read so much fantasy. I just wanted to escape. I wanted to escape my body. I wanted to escape my life. So of course now I'm an adult and I'm just actually pretending to be a fantasy character on the screen for you. I think it's pretty good. I think there are worse things that I could be spending my life doing. My life is your morning decompression. Good. So the words that I just repeated, what they mean in English is, when Yahweh Eloheinu brings you into land that he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to assign to you great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things that you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill. Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. No, I'm not fluent in Hebrew. I've memorized these words. Some of these words I memorized before I knew what they meant, long before I knew what they meant. You've helped me live more free and enjoy life. Thank you for giving you hope for your life. That is a strong statement, my friend. I hope I deserve it. I learned the Via Hafta and the Shema when I was very young, 5, 6, 7 years old. I would go to Hebrew school and they would drill these words into us in prayer services, and they never told us what they meant. And then I got older and I read the book, and I learned that there are things that come after the Via Hafta that are worth repeating, like this, what I just repeated to you, that like, hey, it's a land acknowledgement. We live on stolen land. We live on stolen land. I live on Oneida land. I say that every stream. It's important. I live on Oneida land. And the prayer asks us to remember that all that we have is in some way predicated on the suffering of others, suffering of ourselves. And if we remember that, then maybe we can live in greater alignment with the space that we are in. I'm going a little quickly today, you might have noticed. Sort of running through. I'm not speaking as much in English, but maybe that's good. Maybe y'all appreciate that. It's because I'm running late. But we can continue on. I came upon a wedding that old families had contrived, with Bethlehem the bridegroom and Babylon the bride. Oh, great Babylon was trembling, and she stood there naked with me, and Bethlehem inflamed us both like the shy one at some orgy. And when we fell together, all our flesh was like a veil that we had to draw aside to see the serpent eat its tail. Oh. Some women wait for Jesus, and some we wait for Cain. So I'll hang upon this altar, and I'll hoist my axe again, and I'll take the one who finds me back to where it all began, back when Jesus was the honeymoon, and Cain was just the man. And we'll read from pleasant Bibles that are bound in blood and skin, that Asherah is gathering all her children back again. Thank you for all those hearts. Yes, you can be my mod, Bob Marley. If you'd like to mod for me, join my Discord server, and we can have a conversation there about what I expect from my moderator community. You can also talk to the other moderators. More than me, you'll talk to the other moderators, build consensus on what good practice is. It's one of the things that I'm proudest about of this stream is how strong the moderator team is. Y'all are incredible, and you make this space what it is. It wouldn't be the same without you. It'd just be full of trolls, and always looking to grow the community a little bit more. So if you're interested in moderating, you can join the Discord server, and we can build a shared reality about what we want there to be in this space. What song is that? So that is a song by Leonard Cohen. It's an excerpt called Last Year's Man, and I've inserted words like Asherah. The original lyric is "The wilderness is gathering her children back again," and like that is Asherah, right? Like if we think about Asherah's properties, who she is and what she represents, she is the wilderness. Like that isn't a stretch. But I say the word Asherah because I have a Canaanitic agenda. Can I give you a summary? What is my page about? And myself. That's hard. But we can try. My name is Teresa. I live on a commune. I dumpster dive a lot, and so that's what my most popular videos are about, dumpster diving. But more generally, my life is about food. I live deeply embedded in a culture where everyone I live with and everyone I love spends the vast majority of their time preparing and growing food. And I feel very lucky to live a life like that. I am getting a PhD in mycology. I teach a mycology class at a local university, and I also take students here at my farm, at my commune, and we go out looking for mushrooms together in the summer times. And I'm an internet personality, right? I exist in this box as a character for you to look at and hopefully have some impact on your life and make you feel more human than before we met. That's my goal. Make everyone feel more human. You just read my mind. maybe you just listen carefully, because you've heard me say these things before. I'm going to make some Grifola frondosa tonight. I got some from my students. They didn't want it, so I'm going to make Hen of the Woods soup. It's going to be good. It's Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. I cook Shabbat dinner every Friday from 4 to 6. And then I go on a date. What was my life like before I lived there? I was a boy, so it was very different. Good Shabbos. You want to take my class? I'd love to teach you. I need a cook. I have a cooking show, Kim. This is my cooking show. I mean, obviously I'm not cooking right now, but like I'm gonna eat rice on camera in just a moment. This is my cooking show. Like every TikTok that I've made that has done well has been about food. Like that's what I have to share with the world, I suppose. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, shelo ashani isha. I repeat the name of Yahweh Eloheinu, who did not make me a woman. I had to do that. Baruch atah Asher, Adonai melecha haolam, asher yitzar et ha'adam b'chachama u'vera ve'ol. I repeat the name of Asherah. I replicate her form in clay, who made me with many openings and cavities, or so the story goes. So the story goes. It's just a story, though. She didn't actually make me. I made me. Where could you get a lesson from me? Most immediately, I'm going to be giving a lecture on Glomar Mycota on my server this Sunday at 7 p.m. in 2 days, in 48 hours. I'm going to be giving a lecture about this really incredible phyla of fungi called Glomar Mycota, and you are cordially invited to attend. There's a link in my bio to get access to the Discord server. I want to be doing more stuff like that. I want to be teaching more on Discord, and this is going to be an experiment. I don't know actually how many people will show up. Is it expensive? Membership in the Discord server is $5 a month. Although if that is prohibitive, you can talk to me about it. Like I do give out free invite links, but I do monetize the server because I put a lot of time into it. Like I spent 100 hours preparing this lecture, and I want to be able to give that value to people who will receive it well. So I can't give a lecture like that on TikTok because it would just be full of trolls. But we're going to be talking about Glomar Mycota. They're this really, really beautiful phylum. I've posted a bunch of Glomar Mycota videos. Like all of the videos that I made over the last couple of weeks were about Glomar Mycota because I was preparing for this lecture. But I'll be adding material that's wouldn't be able to fit into a minute-long video on TikTok. And we're going to be talking about these mushrooms, these fungi, and their role in the ecosystem. Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And to access the Discord server, there's a link in my bio. How was my Sukkot? You know, I find this a little embarrassing. I've said this on the stream before, but like I don't actually celebrate many Jewish holidays. I want to. I want to be a rabbi. Because I have strange ambitions about education. But before I can be a rabbi, I have to get my PhD. So right now I have a full-time job at the university, and it kind of, it sucks my energy out of me, and I don't have time to look for a Jewish community. My religious community is this one. You all provide the vast majority of my spiritual outlet, if you will. So my community, the people that I live with, most of them are not Jewish, so we don't celebrate Jewish holidays. I run a Passover Seder in the spring, because that festival is important to me, but I did not build a sukkah, and I did not sit in anyone else's sukkah, because there are not that many Jews who live in this part of the world. I can always practice on my own, don't worry, but I don't want to practice on my own. Like, I started doing this prayer practice years ago, 7 years ago. I started saying the Shema Nevi'ah Hafta on YouTube Live, and there was no one watching. But that wasn't the point. The point was for me to engage in this practice myself. And that still is the point. I would still be doing this if none of you were watching. Maybe I wouldn't be doing it on TikTok, but I would still be doing it. But I like that you all are here. Like, I'm so deeply grateful that you all are here. And as time goes on, and as I'm able to shift away from academia and into internet community building, I'm sure there will be more Jewish practices that enter into my life. I'm glad you enjoy this life. Kajananam Bhutakanati Sevitam Kapita Jambupala Sarabakshitam Masutam Sakabinasakaranam Mahamatim Divyamayuravahanam Rudasyasrinam Sarasananatam Guham Sadanam Saranam Prapadye Yaku Hendutu Saraharadvala Yasupravasvarita Yavinavarandamanditakara Yasveta Padmasana Yabramachuta Sankara Pratrapi Devasata Pujita Samampatu Saraswati Bhagavati Nihisajadhyapa Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nisparanjaya Santaya Shivanandaya Te Namaha Shri Vishnu Devanandaya Te Namaha Om Sarva Mangla Manglaye Shive Savarta Sadike Saranye Chayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om I'm so glad you're here, Boxy. I'm glad to hear that. And, there are other ways to access me, even if you can't make the lives. That is why I have a Discord server. I know I sound like a broken record, but, really, truly, that place is the best place to connect, to, actually connect. And so I talk about it every day on the live stream. So it goes, right? I don't want to sound like a repetitive human, even though that's literally what the stream is. I just repeat the same things over and over again. But when I read things like that, where I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to reach your live, you make my morning better. That's why I do this. It means a lot. It means a lot to be able to share this space with you all, and to get feedback like that. It reminds me why I'm here and why I'm living this life, even though it's tiny and humble. Hey, Ash. Triambakam yajamai Sugandim pushchivardhanam Urva Rukami bhavandanan Mrityur Mukshiyamamritadom Om Triambakam yajamai Sugandim pushchivardhanam Urva Rukami bhavandanan Mrityur Mukshiyamamritadom Om Sarvesham Svastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu Makashid Dukhabhag Bhave Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityor Mamritam Gamaya Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishate Om Shanti 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 Om Peace 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 Om. That outer world is full. This inner world is also full. There is infinity outside and within, and they are the same infinity, taking fullness from fullness. Fullness remains like a serpent that eats its tail. Om, peace, peace, peace. Yes, that prayer is in Sanskrit. And I say it every day because, similar to the Hebrew prayer that we were saying a little bit earlier, they mean the same thing, right? Some philosophers, American philosophers, label it the perennial philosophy, right? If you look at any religious tradition, at any point in history, right, you will find underlying their theology is this insight that all is one, right? That any experience of separation or individuality, right, uniqueness that we might experience is illusory, and in fact, the only way to completely describe the world and to experience it fully is to orient yourself towards it as if you were all of everything, right? That all matter is the same. Everything comes from light. I'm not doing a very good job at articulating this, right? I can just say all is one 17 times every day. But yeah, right? I mean, like, you see this in quantum physics too, right? Like, you dive down and you break up matter into its smallest parts until they all look the same. All atoms are made up of protons and neutrons and electrons, despite their many forms and flavors. And all those protons and neutrons and electrons are made up of quarks, and you can go down, right? And, like, we have a fundamental belief that's a belief, right? It's not actually provable, but it's also, like, hard to imagine a universe that would be any other way. The universe is made of one single thing, and we are all that thing, right? And we are not separate. Even if God is dead, that is the case. Did I paint this myself? This tree of life? I did, except it's not painted, it's Sharpie, right? But it's a representation of this image here, right? This is the tree of life, phylogenetically accurate tree of life, and this is our line of descent, this branch. Humans are right here on the tree, right? So, if there's any representation of God that I think is truly accurate, it is this one, right? Like, this is Ashura. She may very well be a false idol. I hold on to her anyway. I touch this object every day to remind me something about the divine feminine. But if there is any true representation of God that we can hold on to and point to and say, yes, that's accurate, I would say it's this graph, right? This image, right? Because this tree we are all a part of. We have always already been a part of it, and we will continue to be a part of it even after we are gone. It's the trees. The tree is 3.8 billion years old. There is no divine feminine. Well, if there's no divine feminine, then there can't be a divine masculine either. So that disqualifies Jesus a little bit, don't you think? Right? In the Christian tradition, Mary is the divine feminine. And that's fine. I'm quite happy to worship Mary. She's treated just like a goddess of old. You seen how many churches are devoted to Mary? How many icons? How many prayers are said in her name? She's a goddess. Whether or not you believe it, you treat her as such. You're going through this spiritual healing, and you just got kicked out. You were not prepared for it. You got kicked out of what? Kicked out of your house? Kicked out of the stream? No, she's not. Well, I don't expect that you are gonna be amenable to actually have this conversation with me. But no, I'm gonna continue to insist that, like, sociologically, right, we don't have to talk about divinity in a metaphysical sense, but sociologically, Mary is worshipped in the same ways that the old goddesses before her were worshipped, right? Like, if you go to Palestine, if you go to Greece, right, if you go to Italy, and you find churches that are named for Mary, and you walk inside and you see her images in the altars, I think we have a different understanding of what it means to be divine, right? For me, what it means to be divine is to occupy a position in social space that other people treat as divine, right? It's not an inherent quality. It's a quality that is given to you, just like gender, right? Like, I'm not inherently a woman. I'm a woman because enough people treat me like a woman. Mary is divine because enough people treat her as divine. Whether or not you think so is a little bit besides the point. What is the tree of life graph called? It's called a phylogeny. Phylogenetic tree of life. Here, I can show you another one. I've got a bunch of them. Here's this one. Phylogenetic tree of life. I think this is divine. It's not, because not many people treat it that way. But I treat it that way. Am I making any sense to you at all? Who knows? Who knows if I'm making any sense at all? I live in the same network. Clean. I don't live with Jules most of the time, but they will be here next week. They'll be on my live, I'm sure. But so we live in the same commune network, but we don't live in the same place most of the time. She's not divine. That's a pagan Catholic thing, not biblical. Well, maybe I'm a pagan Catholic thing too. Or I guess I'm a pagan Jew. Problem is, Christianity has been invaded and adopted pagan beliefs. That's interesting. That is an interesting frame. Agree to disagree, you suppose. Yeah. I would say that Christianity was the tradition that did the invading. But, you know, there's room for many beliefs here. You're a teacher in spiritual warfare. This is also a very misunderstood area. Yes, Jewish, Polish, Catholic. Very misunderstood area. And because it's TikTok, we're not actually going to be able to reach a common understanding here. The geometry of our communication is such that we can't, right? Because I'm sitting here on a large platform in high fidelity with audio, and people are here listening to me in a way that they're not here to listen to you. So we're in unfair footing. But I recognize that this is a difference of opinion, and that's fine. Like, that's totally fine, right? Like, I am here to pray and to try to experience the divine in the way that I know how, and to show others how I know how. And that doesn't mean that you have to agree with me or appreciate what I'm doing. I'm just happy to be with you all here together right now. So, shall we sing a prayer about prayer? Let's sing a prayer about prayer. I don't want to pray to my maker, no. I just want to be feeling free. Not just who I am, but the pink and golden land and that wide, wild sky over me. Help me to the sun, hey, I'm looking everywhere. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer. And I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. Pray, and it's not much good to talk, better to walk it. Ooh, not much good to take, better to give. We are done, forgiven, and forgotten of our sins, and I promise you, my friends, all that dies will live again. So, pardon, God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer, and I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher made good, and Anat, Anat made bad. Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made. But I don't want to pray to my maker. I just want to be what I see. Not like in a book, or the leaves of trees that shook from a word that means only not a thing. No, 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 no. Pardon, God and Mom, what I'm saying isn't fair. See, I'm looking to become not the prayer, but the prayer, and I don't want to pray, no. I don't want to pray, no, no, no. I don't want to pray, we don't want to pray. Pray. I love Allah, Allah made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. Asher, Asher made good, and Anat, Anat made bad. Eloheinu made love, and Yahweh, Yahweh made hate. I love Allah. God made, God made, God made me. Except that's just a story. None of those gods exist, or all of them do, in the form of stories. And a deeper reality underneath is that I made me. We all are making each other right now. Only the Holy Spirit can write the Word of God on your heart. Not no college. Alright, so let me address this one more time, because y'all are talking about it, and what you're saying is it's good. Like, this is a good conversation. This is the conversation that I want to be having, right? So I think the first thing to point out is that the word divine is a difficult word to define, right? And the Catholic Church has sort of claimed a monopoly on the concept of divinity. And they do this thing where they elevate certain priests to sainthood, right? If they accomplish enough, right? Like, they can glorify or deify certain characters. And they have a theology about God, right? They say that God is one, but also three, right? Being the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. And Mary is very strategically left out of that equation, right? So yes, in a certain literal theological sense, Mary has never been deified. But the way that I'm talking, and the way that I like to think, you don't have to think this way, but I would appreciate if you tried to understand it, or tried to understand this perspective, is I'm not thinking from the frame of any kind of religious institution or any rigorous definition of divinity or God, right? Like, I'm not trying to prove or disprove that Mary is or isn't God, but rather to take an evolutionary perspective, take a historical perspective, and say, all right, so people have been around for 2 million years. Homo sapiens has been around for 2 million years. And religion, organized religion, has been around for, who knows, 10,000 years perhaps. Judaism has been around for 3,000 years. Christianity, 2,000 years. So we can put dates to this, right? And we can say that our understanding of the divine has changed throughout time. But even as it's changed throughout time, there are also things that remain constant, right? So we worship gods. We worship some idea, some story. And if you reach far back enough, right, the only kind of commonalities that you'll find are gendered commonalities, right? Like we can see in the earliest mythologies, stories about the divine feminine and the divine masculine, right? And often they come unified, right? The divine androgyne, it's even older than that, but like, if you want to take a cross-cultural perspective, right? If you want to say, what is the same about all of the religions on the planet, right? The worship of a certain kind of gendered character is pretty universal. So when I say that Mary is divine, I'm not saying that she is a god like Yahweh, right? That would be theologically blasphemous. But what I am saying is that there was a divine feminine that was worshipped in the Eastern Mediterranean for thousands of years. Her name used to be Ashura, but that's only one of her many names, right? There were goddesses before her, there were goddesses after her. And one of the goddesses that came after her, in the sense that I'm using the word goddess, is in a character who is worshipped and who gives people guidance and understanding and context for their own lives, right? Like, Mary is a role model. You can't deny that Mary is a role model for Catholics, right? Catholic women go in, there's a grotto in Beit Sahor, there's a cave, and there's a spring that runs through the cave, and I've been in this cave. And there's images of Mary everywhere, this just like really cute, beautiful underground temple to Mary, right, with water flowing. And like, I don't care if the people in that grotto think that she's a god or not, like, there's a grotto to Mary, right? I got to be in there, I got to experience that physical sensation of being in a sacred place under the ground, surrounded by water, right? And that's what I think about when I think about Mary. So whether or not she is divine is a little bit besides the point, right? The grotto is there, the grotto exists, she's worshipped there, and before her, I promise you, there was another divinity that was in that grotto, I assure you. So that's a little bit what I mean. Jesus or the disciples wouldn't get caught dead in that apostate church. Maybe I made sense to some of you, maybe I didn't make sense to others, but in any case, that's evolutionary mythology, right? Take an evolutionary perspective on our religious traditions, and we can understand something about them that we would not be able to understand if we did not apply an evolutionary perspective. So it goes, right? It's not actually that great or profound, but it is how I see the world. You really appreciate this learning experience. Well, that's great, Jewish Polish Catholic. I'm glad. I'm glad. Good morning. Good morning. So I have a couple more prayers for you today, and then we're going to have breakfast. So we're going to do a prayer in Sanskrit called Arati, which means flame, and then a prayer in Hebrew called Kaddish, which means holy. Jesus, the Father, the Holy Spirit Bible is not religion. That doesn't make any sense to me. What am I going to eat today? I'm probably going to have seaweed again. Yeah, seaweed and rice. That's what I'm going to eat today. Must be really fulfilling way to see the world, judging by how pleasant your energy is. I think so. Like, I think I live a pretty fulfilled life, right? Like, I have the privilege to be able to spend time really thinking about where I want to be deriving meaning from, and how I want to be orienting myself towards the world, right? Like, I'm lucky enough that I have jobs that give me space to think, and my jobs get me outside. I get to be in the forest, get to look at forest genitals and think about reproduction and the lineage that I'm a part of, and I don't take that lightly. Right? Yeah, and I try to have an outlook on the world that embeds me in it in a way that I can accept, right? I don't want to see myself as evil or a sinner. This ain't your cup of tea, but to each their own. Thank you, Corey. So, arati is a Sanskrit word. It means flame. So here's our little flame. Here it is. And we're gonna repeat some names of God together. And as we repeat these many and diverse names of God, we're gonna repeat the name of Ganesh at the very beginning. Look, here's Ganesh, elephant-headed God. Let me show you another picture of Ganesh, because I think he's cute. Where's Ganesh? There's Shiva. Here's Ganesh's dad, Shiva. Shiva cut off Ganesh's head. Ganesh. Where are you? Probably at the beginning. This is embarrassing. Hanuman is there. Here's Hanuman. Here's the monkey god. I'm on later than usual. Yes, I'm on much later than usual. I had a slow day. Oh, look at this serpent god. Ooh. Am I on a new schedule? No, I'm just running late. I didn't get much sleep 2 nights ago, and so this night I went to bed at 8 and I slept until 9 in the morning because I have freedom to do that sometimes. So I don't know where Ganesh is. Ganesh is lost in the book. Come on, Ganesh. Well, I don't have the capacity to find him today. Well. In any case, Ganesh had his head chopped off by his father, only to be replaced by an elephant. So we're gonna say Ganesh's name, and then we're gonna say Subramania's name, and Venugopala's name, and Gauri, and Shakti. Go on and on. So this isn't Buddhism. This prayer, you could call it Hinduism, Shivananda Hinduism, and what I hope that you can get from this prayer as we repeat all of these different names of God is that underlying them all, they're actually the same. Yes, Ganesh is the god of removing obstacles. Exactly. Come on. I want to show you this image now. I really do. Here he is. There's our boy. There's Ganesh. Yeah, so Ganesh is invoked first in the prayer to help us overcome the obstacle of getting through the entire prayer. I am male and female. Jaya Jayarati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Sri Ganesha Jaya Jayarati Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jayarati Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jayarati Venkanta Ramana Sankata Harana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jayarati Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jayarati Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jayarati Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jayarati Dattatreya Trimutriya Vatara Jaya Jayarati Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarati Sankarachaya Advaita Guravi Jaya Jayarati Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jayarati Vishnu Devananda Brahma Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jayarati Agastya Munayi Agastya Munaye Shyama Priyayi Jaya Jayarati Ayappa Swamine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jayarati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jayarati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Gurubho Namaha Jaya Jayarati Avenugopala Natatra Suyobhati Natandragaratam Nima Vidyobhati Kutoya Magni Twameva Vantamadabandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Samitam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamune Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Sidukaveri Hiya Namastitam Namo Namaha. Neither the sun shines there, nor the moon, stars, nor lightning, so from where does its light come? When it shines, all shines after that. By this light, all else is lit. Peace, peace, peace. Tvameva mata chapita tvameva, tvameva bandusha saka tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Kayena vacha manasendriyarva buddhyatmanava prakrite sabhavad karomi adyat mangalam parasmahe narayanaiti sarmarpayami sarvardhamam pravichayami mekam sarvanam vrija am sva sarva papayo mokshayami masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these I dedicate to you, to all of you. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. It means a great deal. I say that every day, and every day it's true. Doesn't matter. All that matters is that their way of feeling peaceful with life in this reality. What is that prayer that I just said? So the prayer is called Arati. It's from the Shivananda Yoga tradition, and I was asked earlier what's the difference between Hinduism and Buddhism, and of course there are many differences, but we could also say nothing. We could say they're the same tradition in the same sense that when I'm talking about Judaism or Christianity or Islam, they are the same tradition, and that they are part of the same phylogenetic tree. Thank you so much for those lightning flies, those fireflies. I appreciate it. What religion is this? We're doing evolutionary mythology, right? So the next prayer we're going to say is Kaddish. And the word Kaddish is at least as old as this goddess, Ketesh, who was the patron goddess of a city on the Syrian coast that was destroyed 3,500 years ago. You can see she rides a lion, she arouses the Egyptian gods, she holds snakes, right? There was a city named after her, it was destroyed. And yet we still have this Semitic word Kadesh, Kadosh, Kaddish, it's in my name, means holy, right? So in that same sense, these Hindu prayers, some of them you also see in Buddhist traditions, right? There is a line of continuity, a branching line, just like this shape, that connects all of the religious traditions in the world. And my goal in being here with you all today is to try to understand that line better, try to understand this tree, this branching tree that we are all a part of. Hello again, Kara. Hello again. So, now we're going to say Kaddish. And we can remember that city that fell. We can remember many things. I started saying Kaddish every day at the start of the pandemic. And I was saying Kaddish for all the people who died every day of coronavirus. And so now, if you feel comfortable, I would ask that you share the names or description, some words for something in your life that you are grieving. You said a prayer for my sobriety, and it's going well so far. I'm so glad, Kara. Yeah, so this is a time to put into the shared space, our shared attention space, who we might be grieving today, and who we want to hold in our minds, in our collective attention, as we say these words of mourning. So, for the last 2,500 years, the words of mourning that my ancestors have been saying sound a little bit like this. Yikadal vikadash me rabba, biamadivrach yote viam lichmal chute, b'chayechon of yamechon of chayedikol be Israel, Bagala bisman kari fimru. Amen. Yehe shemay rabba me ba'arach le'alam alme almaya. Vid barach vishtabach vid ba'ar vid ramam vid naseh. Vitadar vitale vitalal shemay de kudasha barichu. Le'elam min kol birchata b'shirata tush b'chata b'nechimata. Diamiran bi'alma vimru. Amen. Yehi shalom arab amin shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yochol Yisrael v'imru amin. O say shalom b'imramav huya asay shalom aleinu v'yochol Yisrael v'imru amin. O say shalom b'imramav huya asay shalom aleinu v'yochol Yisrael v'imru amin. Thank you all so much for being here with me today to say these words, even though we're a little bit behind schedule. I appreciate it. Like, gosh, to have all of you here in my life, it's amazing. So, now I'm going to turn the cameras around. I'm going to turn on Discord. So if you want to chat with me on Discord, we can do that. And we're going to have some breakfast. How does that sound? There we are. There it is. So I'll give another reminder. I'm going to be giving a lecture on Sunday on my Discord server about Glomer Mycota right here. All right, so here's the Ouroboros